So, the Battle Tournament 2015 is over. The Grey Thuds surprised me by winning every single match they were in spite of their lack of armor. Gotta say, pretty impressive. So, with the Battle Tournament out of the way, I can actually start on a new project that I was starting to plan in the midst of setting up everything for the tournament. We're going to be doing a variation on the Clay Soldier Civilization project that the Sneaky Bros have done for a few years now. I'm not going to be quite as lore heavy as the Sneaky Bros are with their stuff. It's not going to be so much an art project as it is going to be an actual civilization at war simulation type thing. And I've been spending some time preparing and building and getting ready for this, and I am pretty much all set. I just have to set up the map where everything is going to be taking place. And I'll give you a little sneak peek of that in a moment. But first, let's look at the buildings. As these guys continue to duke it out. So, these are all the buildings I've been working on. They're designed to be clay soldier sized, not really accessible by giants such as myself, but perfectly accessible to anyone of diminutive clay proportions. Let's actually grab a few soldiers and just toss them in. Let them run around and explore as they ought to. So we have things like houses and barracks and town halls, and all these are going to determine the population of the towns. And town halls will determine what size the towns can be. Like a level 1 town hall, it can only have like itself and 3 other buildings, excuse me. One of which is going to be a warehouse. Or actually no. Never mind. A town hall can exist without a warehouse next to it. They just would want to build a warehouse later because, you know, item storage. Yeah, that's another thing that's going to be, I'm going to talk about in a moment. But aside from that, there's resource gathering, places like quarries and mines, lumber mills, farms, places to train your soldiers, little resource nodes for extra items like horses or nether items, desert items, butcher animals to get bones and leather and feathers, clay pits to gather clay to make more clay soldiers. I've done a lot of planning this out in my head, and basically this first attempt is going to be a prototype. It's going to be like a season 0. We'll see if my ideas actually work out, or if I needed to change things or something. Anyway, about the resource gathering. Clay soldiers by default will have nothing. Except for, you know, civilians are going to be peaceful. They're not going to fight to defend the city. They're not going to charge out to do war. They're civilians. Their job is to make it so that the people who can fight are able to fight at their best. So, places that gather resources like the quarry, they have a worker count. Like, you need to have 4 workers at a level 1 quarry, and then you'll get 5 stone per week. And that's something I'm actually thinking of. I'm going to be doing this like a weekly video thing, and we're going to like focus on either one civilization or jump around between civilizations to see what they're going to be doing for that week, how their progressive strategy is going to be. It's going to be an interesting experiment of a video series, and I hope that people enjoy it. Which, by the way, if you think other people enjoy it, do spread this around, because this is one of the biggest projects I've taken on for myself for a video series. So anyway, with the resource gathering, they have to have a place to store it. By default, all towns will be able to store 10 items worth of resources. Yeah, it's not very much, but items that clay soldiers are equipped with don't count towards that cap, so it's best to just get the resources, get them equipped, and then move on. Warehouses increase the storage amount. Like a level 1 will increase it by 15, so a town can have 25 items stored by default. I might change those numbers, but for now this is what I'm thinking. Then 25 for level 2 and 45 for level 3. So lots of storage. A town with a level 3 warehouse will be able to store 55 items. That's probably more than they would ever need. There's not going to be any sort of upkeep on these things. At least not for the start, because I don't know how that's all going to work. This is all like beta. This is beta mode, Clay Soldiers, Civilization stuff. And I'm probably getting way in over my head to start with. Houses will increase the population limit of the town, which means more civilians. Barracks are required to increase the soldier limit of the town. So like level 3 barracks, that's 16 soldiers. Plus the town hall has a certain amount of guards by default. I think that having 2 barracks in a town is probably going to be more than enough soldiers. When there's an invasion going on, it could be multiple towns attacking one city, which can overwhelm forces trying to defend, but yeah, see, this is where it's more complex, because I haven't quite thought it all out. But that's the purpose of this whole beta season. Season 0. Yeah. Getting new clay soldiers is going to require clay, of course. It also requires 1 loaf of bread, and that will, of course, come from the wheat. And in order to actually get a loaf of bread, notice that there's not any place that actually bakes any items, other than the butcher. The butcher cooks the meat right away. So to get bread and process iron and ores and stuff like that, we actually are going to be using a do-it-all conversion building called the Alchemist, which I really like the design I set up here. It's just like a little platform with a fire underneath, a cook pot, and a little piston to apply pressure. And that transmutes the items into whatever they require. Wood will turn to sticks for weaponry. Sand will turn to glass panes, because I am planning on having like assassin classes and scout classes. Assassin classes will get to use eggs and shears, and they will wreak havoc among the clay soldiers as they go around, stab people in the back. And scouts will be able to find them, detect them, and hunt them down. Cobble turns to gravel. Yeah, not going to have any place to get gravel naturally. You're going to have to convert cobblestone into gravel. Iron ore turns into 2 ingots. Why 2? Because I think that's fair. Wheat will turn into 1 bread. And you have to get better alchemists in order to, get more stuff. Which I forgot to include the upgrade cost of these things. I'm going to have to write that down somewhere. But I'm thinking it's going to require like 10 stone to upgrade to level 2, and 10 stone and 4 iron, because cauldrons, and then like 20 stone and 8 iron to get to level 3, which level 3 has everything that you can convert, as I've thought up right now. So mushrooms, either one can be turned into slime, which would be useful. Ice turns into a snow layer. Yeah, by default, I'm going to say that anyone who is in a snowy biome can collect any amount of snowballs they want, but they can't collect any snow layers or snow blocks. An ice node, like I have over there, will give you snow balls as well, and ice, which can be turned into snow layers just because more uses. Sugarcane to sugar, of course. Emerald ore to 1 emerald. Yeah, it's going to be more difficult to get mage users. Blaze rods into blaze powder. It's a 1-to-1 trade, so it's not too overly powerful. And iron ingots turn into shears. So you can't really get assassins until you get a level 3 alchemist. Well, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll get to the class system later. The different nodes I have, I'm going to scatter them throughout the world, and if the clay soldiers find a node, they can colonize it, and then they can collect the resources from it. So not every civilization is going to have access to the same bonus resources. Horses, you need horses to have cavalry. So it can be that an entire civilization has no cavalry units whatsoever. Mages all require a blaze rod, and you can't get a blaze rod without another node. So yeah, that can lead to some problems for some civilizations. Sand is only obtainable through a desert node, and without sand, there's no glass panes. Without glass panes, you don't have scouts that are experts at finding the assassins. So that can cause a bit of problem. I could see this one actually being quite important later on in the game. This one, not as important. If you live in a snowy biome, they can get the snow themselves, but in order to get better snow, they need the ice. And swamp nodes are the only sources of lily pads, red mushrooms, and brown mushrooms. So without this as well, I can't remember what I put for the mage classes. I think in order to get level 2 mages, you need to have access to slime, because then the mages start learning more immobilizing tactics and controlling the battlefield instead of being weak, set on fire, damage over time units. Training grounds, I only have 3 different types. You can train any units at them, but you can only train one type of unit per week. And they can train from 6 to 12, depending on the level. I didn't really know what to do for the training ground, so I just kind of put a little sparring pit, some poles for attacking, practicing your swing and stuff, and a little lecture stand for veterans to speak to the soldiers about upcoming combat. Lumber mill, you just get wood from that. Mines will give you all the different things you mine. It's all fairly well thought out, I think. I hope. I really hope that I've got this all thought out well. I was originally thinking of making clay pits where you can get slime, but I found out that the slime blocks from Tinker's Construct, let me show you, because it's kind of funny. The slime blocks are like quicksand for a clay soldier. I just find that amusing. And they can't get out. They sit there and they die. There's no escape for them. But for us, it's a fun little thing to bounce on. But you can see why they sink down so far. I mean, we sink down. Like, how far do we sink down? Yeah, half our leg, and that's about the size of a clay soldier, isn't it? Yeah. Poor guys. They just get sucked down into the slime and they suffocate. Anyway, enough about the buildings, which, by the way, I'm going to be building with schematica. And that's what all the green things on top are. They're just to represent the buildings I've gotten into the schematics. Looks like Purple won that little battle. Good job, Purple. Let's move on to the world that they're going to actually be fighting in. And welcome to the little world that the clay soldiers will be fighting in. I shouldn't really say little, though, because it is actually fairly big for them. I mean, it's 1,000 block by 1,000 block border. And this is the map. We are off in one corner, and if you just look at it, this is all where they're going to be fighting in. I made a little wall to kind of keep the border consistent. I forgot to put in a little thing up here to remind me where the corner is. It's actually useful to have little warp points in these corners because, you know, you can just get around the area faster. And if you actually pay a little bit close attention, you can already see where I put some nodes in. There's a swamp node over there, and over here we have a desert node, and somewhere over here, right here, there's another node. So I've been getting this area prepared a bit. I have to put a few more nodes in to make it a little more balanced. And I gotta get the capitals made for each civilization still, which I'm trying to keep within chunk borders, but it's not quite working. I should have installed whatever mod it was that lets you see the chunks. Oh well, it'll work out. Anyway, this is the white civilization. Yeah, they're going to be showing up again. Not going to be Valkyries this time, though. I don't want to do Pegasus for the beta, at least. Maybe I'll put some way of getting more units in if we go with more than one season. But for now, we're just sticking with things like horses and a lot of the basic stuff. Not even going to be turtles. Anywho, the Greys won, so I kind of gave them a little bit of a special bonus. Let's actually jump over to the Grey capital and you can see what it's like. And we're here. So, this is about what the towns will end up looking like. Not too exciting, I know, but again, this is just like a beta. We're not going to have full-blown awesome decor. I could probably put more decoration around the warehousing, at least. And the places that have the most decoration are definitely the town center and the houses. Everything else a little more sparse. Like, maybe I should put pathways to each house. Oh, by the way, if you want to help me make variations on the default structures, please do so. Like, try to make variations that fit with different civilizations, different styles. I'll go over more what the civilizations are like later on, probably a different episode because I don't really want to stretch this out too long. I just wanted to give you guys a little view of what this is like. In fact, there's actually a building I thought of that would be kind of fun to have, but I didn't really implement it at all. A unit cannon. Make it so that they can shoot units across the map and give them feathers for parachutes. I probably should have come up with that already, but oh well. Anyway. The town halls all have wool in them, by the way, which can be the same color as the civilization they're representing. So when a civilization conquers another civilization's town, they just replace the wool, and then it's theirs. Also, the border of the town is represented with their color. So because this is the gray civilization, the gray barbarians, which is what they're going to be called from now on, everything is gray. And the paths are all going to be made out of sand. I couldn't think of a better path. I didn't want to do gravel because gravel just... I don't know. It would just raise a question of why don't they just pick the gravel up off the road and start throwing it as a weapon? To which my only answer is, I don't know. I also forgot to put in a recipe for the shields. Yeah, the alchemist. Gonna have to take care of that too. Dang it, I've been lapsing on my mission to make this all good before I record a video. Ah well. So, outside of the border of the town, I'm probably going to put a chest with a little notebook in it, keeping track of the resources the town currently has and how many units and soldiers and stuff are in the town. In fact, let's just go grab a chest and I think I'll put it right there by the warehouse. There we go. So all this is pretty cool. It definitely looks like what I was hoping it would look like. Kind of makes me think of like Age of Empires in a way, where you have the town center built and things just build up around it and you have to defend it. In a way, it's like I'm doing that, but with a bunch of clay. Let's just have a fight go on for now. So, I think I'm only going to do 3 civilizations to start with. I'm probably going to put the 3rd civilization up in this corner of the map. Kind of give them a reason to end up having to go into conflict with the gray civilization because their expansion is limited to going westward or sailing down the river to a kind of mountainous area that doesn't have much room for towns. Oh, expansion towns, by the way, have to be like 100 blocks away from a different town. That's what I'm thinking of doing for now. I don't know if that's how it's going to work out, but it's going to be what it's like. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here. Might do another video explaining the classes that we're going to have, which I'm still coming up with, so that's why main reason why I'm not doing anything with the classes right now. Yeah. I'm expecting that this is going to be a once-a-week video series, and it's going to take place probably Sundays in the afternoon. I don't know how long the episodes are going to be, but I would expect them to be around a half hour at least. Maybe longer if I'm going to go over each clay soldier civilization while I'm there. We'll see how things turn out. But hope you guys are excited and hyped for this new series. If you are hyped, definitely share this wonderful news across the interwebs, and I will see you in another video. Take care, guys, and goodbye.